guys, welcome to Movies That Matter with the Viking. I thought I'd start doing some more Instagram lives so I could interact with you guys, talk about the latest movie news and stuff like that. And hopefully some of you guys can come in with the comments and let us know your opinion and stuff like that. How you doing, man? How are you? Yeah, so just saying I thought I'd do some Instagram lives, just talk about some latest news about movies and TVs and start talking to you guys a little bit more, which is pretty cool to engage with you guys. But that Mandalorian episode dropped last night, Chapter 9. Don't worry, I won't spoil anything. I'll let you guys get into that show and watch it. Such a good episode. 51 minutes of just pure entertainment. Absolutely loved it. I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, I know you are. I know who it is, Brian. I know it's you. Don't worry. I know who it is. But yeah, that Mandalorian episode, absolutely brilliant. So fast paced. Going to get you really pumped up for the rest of this season. So many little Easter eggs as well, looking back at the old films, and then some cool stuff that is setting up for this season to be nothing but great. If it can get to the same potential of season 1, then it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not a diehard Star Wars fan where I absolutely crave Star Wars content, but I have to say a lot of the Disney content that I have gone into has been The Mandalorian, and I love the show. I really like how it's done, that Western kind of team. Jon Favreau doing a wonderful job writing the show, and I think there's some other big profile directors coming into the show this season, so I really can't wait. The action is done so well, and I can't believe it's done on a stage, and it looks so good. The CGI is brilliant, and Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian, we don't get to see his face a lot, but I think it's just his voice acting, and whoever plays him in the suit when he's not doing it does a pretty good job of conveying that relationship between him and Baby Yoda. It is really done well, and that's hard to believe. Someone who we don't see their emotion, and a little CGI baby character or whatever way they do Baby Yoda, we actually feel for them so much. But I thought that Chapter 9, the Marshal, got off to a great start, and it really is. And I can't wait for the rest of the season, absolutely. The Halloween teaser dropped as well, the Michael Myers film that was supposed to come out this year, but thanks to COVID, it has been moved from a year to now. I think next November, a year from now. Man, that film is shot. It's completed. It's ready to be seen. It's sitting somewhere in a vault, and we can't watch it. We can't watch it, and it's so annoying. Because I'm a big kind of Michael Myers Halloween fan, the old kind of horror films of Nightmare on Elm Street. How you doing, man? Thanks for being here, appreciate it. Chucky, things like that. That old horror I really like, and I loved Halloween in 2018, the comeback of the story. It was done really well, and I heard that one of the directors or writers were saying that this is going to be twice the kills, and it's going to be even more crazy than the 2018 one, so that's something to definitely look forward to. But it's so annoying because that film is there, it's ready to go. I just don't know why they just don't maybe drop it to Netflix or drop it to Amazon and sell it that way. I know that will do well in theaters, the Halloween, but who's to know what way theaters are going to be in a year from now? We don't even know. There's none really open now at the minute showing new movies. So is this COVID going to go away anytime soon? Are people going to be happy to go back to theaters with large groups a year from now? It's really hard to know. Who can say? Who can be certain? I hope it is. I really do. I don't want to be too negative about it, but we just don't know. And that film is sitting there, and they probably see a huge box office potential with it. But if you look at Borat, what was that sold for? 120 million, and that's done really well on Amazon. What other film was recently sold as well? I can't think of it, but the Eddie Murphy one, Coming to America 2, that's been sold to Amazon as well for over 100 million. So there is money to be made off the streaming services, but I suppose the theaters don't want to give in to the streaming services yet because they want to see how the market's going to be for the next year or so. So they don't mind waiting that long as they get it into theaters and an audience comes out to see it. But a year from now, if Amazon or Netflix now have offered to get Halloween and they rejected it, are they going to regret it a year from now if theaters aren't back up and running. That's something to be considered. But the teaser they showed, I think it was like 40-50 seconds, got me so pumped for what's going to happen in that film. I can't wait. Michael Myers, he's a scary big man, and I love his movies. I really do. Even the bad ones have something about them that's just, it's just him. It's him as the character, you know. He's like this kind of, he's like a Batman character. It doesn't matter who's in the suit, you're going to show up and watch a Batman film no matter what, and that's how I am with Michael Myers. Now let's go on to the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. Now, we found out a while ago that there is a Schneider cut per se of the Suicide Squad film in 2016. The 2016 film I really do like. I went to go see it with my brother. I enjoy that film for what it is. It's fun. It's got some nice little cameos in it with the Flash, Batman. Joker should have been in it more, but I like Jared Leto's Joker. Will Smith was good. Harley Quinn. I really enjoyed that film, but I still want to see the Ayer cut because David Ayer is a very good director and he gets a lot of shit for that 2016 film, even though it made a lot of money, and I really liked it. And I remember the theater was packed when I went to go see it. Tony Movie says, I agree, I would honestly watch Halloween Kills in theaters. Yeah, I would love to see it in theaters as well, on the big screen. I got to see the 2018 one in theaters, my first Michael Myers one in theaters, and with a crowd there, it's kind of more tense and stuff like that. So I agree, I would definitely love to see it in theaters, 100%. But I just really want to see it now. But the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, there was kind of rumours that it was going to be announced over today or yesterday or even tomorrow. There has been nothing about it whatsoever. I really want to see the Ayer cut, but I think it's coming. I don't think we have to get so annoyed by no announcement. The Schneider cut is coming in 2021, and depending on how successful that is, I'm sure the Ayer cut will happen. I still don't think the Ayer cut will come out before Zack Snyder's Justice League, but then parts of me think it should come out before Zack Snyder's Justice League, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm looking forward to it. Jared Leto's Joker was butchered in the 2016 version. He's in a lot of scenes that were cut, and he gets a lot of shit, even though we only got to see him, 10 minutes, and his scenes were only like 30 seconds, 1 minute scenes. I think it's unnecessary hate. We can't really judge his character because it was absolutely butchered. Hoping they give David money to flesh out his cut like Snyder. That's a possibility as well, but David Ayer said it wouldn't cost too much to complete his film of Ayer cut. It's basically done, just a little bit of visual effects and stuff like that. But yeah, if they're willing to give him a little bit more money, who's to say Will Smith or someone like that can come back and add more scenes to it, or do more of a side story or an origin story for one of the lesser known characters. What was that character that was killed off fairly quickly? Slipknot? He's supposed to be in it, and he hinted that Wonder Woman is the one that captured him. So I wondered if Gal Gadot shoot a scene for that, or if not, let's bring them back and do that origin story for Slipknot or his capturing scene. Definitely agree. Brian goes, we need to see the full Joker performance. Absolutely, you know. It really annoys me when people go and say he's the worst Joker of all time, but what do you have that to base it on? An extended cameo is all it is, but I'm glad he's coming back and getting some sort of redemption in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I absolutely can't wait for that. Tony Movie says they don't. Something about watching theatrical movies on streaming services, it's not the same. I agree with you there, it's not, because like action movies, things like that, huge set pieces. I remember I got to see Blade Runner 2049 in theaters. And that film didn't do well at the box office. It was just me in the theaters by myself actually watching that film. But the experience I had was unbelievable on the big screen. And the kind of, that way that film was shot, everything about it. If I had seen it at home, I don't think I'd appreciate it as much. So definitely, there's movies that have to be seen on the big screen in theaters. But the Ayer cut, lots of rumours it's going to be announced today or tomorrow. I don't know. I actually don't know if it's going to be or not. But whenever it is, it's going to happen eventually. It will. It's not a case of the Snyder Cut has to be announced first. The Snyder Cut's coming no matter what, and I'm sure the Ayer Cut will come as well. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm a big David Ayer fan, you know, Fury, Tax Collector, stuff like that. He's a very good director, and his chemistry in all his films are brilliant, and that's what saved the film in 2016. The editing was poor in 2016, the story wasn't as good, but the chemistry between the cast I think is what saved the film. Tony Movie goes, I agree, I really like Leto. Joker, I thought his Joker was a bit underrated, and it's different, isn't it? It's different from Heath Ledger, it's different from Jack Nicholson and Joaquin Phoenix, and that's exactly what you want. I don't mind the tattoos, this is just a different incarnation of the character. It's a different interpretation. Because in the comic books, how many Jokers, how many Batmans have there been? Different stories, different kind of suits, different looks. Like, what's wrong with having that on the big screen as well? We can have the Joaquin Phoenix Joker standalone film, and we can have Jared Leto's Joker interact with these big DC characters, and I'm interested to see in what capacity he is going to be in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I have three kind of storylines that he could be in. It could be the death of Robin. They show how that happened and how Batman beat him up and he lost all his teeth, and then he put into Arkham Asylum. There was a rumor on Reddit that he was broken out of prison by Deathstroke and Harley Quinn was there as well. Maybe that's another possibility, but I think the most likely one is in the nightmare sequence in the future where Superman has taken over the world with Darkseid and Batman is leading a resistance with Joker, with Deathstroke. And that's what Zack Snyder said before at one of his watch-alongs, that was going to happen in the future. So that'd be cool. See Ben Affleck's Batman and Jared Leto's Joker interact and work together. It'll be weird, but it'll be also something new. And how would they interact considering Joker's the one that killed Robin? And I think Joker was always part of the plan for Zack Snyder's Justice League. I really do. People said this is a new thing that Zack never had in mind. I think it was going to be a part of it because we got Easter eggs towards it in BVS of the Robin suit. We did. And then that reference to Clark Kent was like, freaks dressed as clowns. That was in a reference to Joker. So for him being in Zack Snyder's Justice League, I absolutely can't wait. Let's move on to the next topic. So Red Notice. This is a Netflix film that stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. Yep, star power. The Rock, a megastar. Ryan Reynolds, a megastar. And Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. Everyone knows who she is at this stage. And The Rock has a brilliant social media following. So does Ryan Reynolds. The two of them are brilliant businessmen outside of film. And they can market their films perfectly. And I can't wait to see Black Adam, Deadpool, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman in a film together, in this action kind of film, which is going to be cool. And the thing about Netflix films is they don't promote a film unless it's ready to come out, So they might see a trailer for a film or a show 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the show actually comes out, and then you don't have that long to wait. You're like, oh, that looks good. Oh, I have to wait 2 weeks? Cool. But then with a big movie that's coming out in theaters, you see 1, 2, 3, 4 trailers, you get TV spots because they're trying to market it as much, and then you're like, man, this film is ages away, But with a Netflix film, it's coming out fairly quickly. And now that they've shot, Ryan Reynolds has shot his part anyway, so I'm sure the rest of them are not that far behind. So that should be out soon as well, maybe next February and March, something to really look forward to. So what are we currently discussing? I'm just talking about Red Notice, the next Netflix film which is kind of wrapped today with Ryan Reynolds. And that brings me on to kind of a side topic as well. A lot of rumours that Ryan Reynolds is supposed to appear back as Green Lantern. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen. He's had discussions with Warner Bros. That's what some scoopers have said before, that he wants to come back to Green Lantern. Rock, Gal, and Ryan is an insane team. Absolutely, star power. I think that film will do pretty well on Netflix, because they're usually popular actors. But Ryan Reynolds come back as Green Lantern. Now, I have said before, if you've seen him on my YouTube channel, I've talked about why this could be a possibility. And I think one of them is, are Disney going to do an R-rated Deadpool? Deadpool, a hugely successful franchise. Absolutely. I love those two first films. Absolutely brilliant. But now that Fox and all those characters are now with Disney, are they going to do an R-rated interpretation of Deadpool? Will they allow an R-rating with curses, with blood, with guts, with all that stuff take place under the Disney banner? I have my doubts. I hope I'm wrong. I love the character. I love Ryan as the character. But who's knows? Like, I just doubt it. I really, really doubt it. But who knows? But he has been flirting with the Snyder Cut. He has been flirting with Green Lantern for the last year. He has talked about the Snyder Cut. I hope it's R-rated. I do too. I really hope it happens with Disney. I really do. I don't know. I have a YouTube channel. Yeah, it's called Movies That Matter. Just look it up or go into the link on my bio here on Instagram and you'll find it. Check it out if you can, please. And so he's been flirting with it. He's talked about the Snyder Cut. He has made meme trailers of Green Lantern. He has tweeted the hashtags and stuff online. Zack Snyder's Justice League and stuff like that. So, really hope not Deadpool. Not Deadpool needs to be R-rated. Yeah, it needs to be. Definitely, it needs to be. It has to work. I wouldn't. Did any of you guys see that Christmas special they put out of Deadpool where they made Deadpool 2 into a PG-13? Doesn't work whatsoever. I didn't even finish it. I didn't like it whatsoever because Deadpool 2 for me is a great film. And they reduced all that stuff. Thanks very much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Thanks very much. Thanks guys. I didn't like it. The PG-13 thing, didn't like it. It didn't work for Deadpool. After him being butchered in Wolverine Origins, and then after them doing them so well in the 2016 version, You have to do that way going forward. I really do. I'd love to see him interact with Spider-Man. You can do that. You can do a PG-13 Deadpool interacting with Spider-Man in bits. But an overall 90-minute or 2-hour Deadpool film that's PG-13, I'm not really that interested. Brian goes, I love the idea of Ryan's Green Lantern getting redeemed just like his Deadpool in X-Men Origins. Absolutely. He was butchered in X-Men Wolverine Origins. 2016 he comes back, gets his redemption. And the rumours have been saying that he wants to do the same with Green Lantern. That 2011 film wasn't good, but he was probably the best thing about it. He was great as Hal Jordan. And it's going to be interesting what happens. You know, I love Ryan's quote today. He says, just finished production on Red Notice today. And Zack Snyder's additional photography is taking place right now. So that has more people thinking, oh, is he going to jump over and do the Snyder Cut shoots? Who knows? I don't know. It's kind of fun to talk about because a year ago we were like, when is the Snyder Cut going to come out? And now we're talking about who's going to play Green Lantern. You know, so it's pretty cool. And some people are getting really angry online. It's not Ryan Reynolds. And it is Ryan Reynolds. And it has to be. I don't care. I'm just having fun with the discussions about Green Lantern. It's cool, you know. Either way, if he is Green Lantern, I'm interested. If he's not, I'm interested to see who's gonna play Green Lantern. You know, so like he has been in talks. That's what the rumors have been. It's just about finding time and stuff like that. But we'll have to wait and see. And hopefully we get to find out soon. Would you rather be a surprise? Like if you didn't know who was going to be Green Lantern, the next minute Ryan Reynolds is in a post-credit scene or a cliffhanger. That would be pretty cool. And that's kind of my prediction. If Ryan Reynolds is brought into the Snyder Cut, it won't be a big, massive scene or anything like that. It will be like a post-credit scene, or it will be a cliffhanger, something like that. It's not going to be a big thing because at the minute now they're doing additional photography. It's not going to be anything that big. Just the Beebs writes, if Ryan is Hal Jordan again, do you think he will play a more serious role compared to his usual comedic roles? I do. I think under the direction of Zack Schneider, he will not be, because Zack Schneider's humour, he does use humour in his films, but it's not over the top. It's very subtle. It's kind of dry, kind of jokes. You know, if you look at Batman v Superman, is she with you? That's a kind of jokey, funny, fun line, but it's not beaten to your face. It's not over the top. What other scene? When he saves Martha, he goes, "I'm a friend of your son's." She goes, "Oh, I know, the cape." You know, that kind of humour that works for the DC world. Marvel does a different kind of humour, and that works for them. But if Green Lantern Ryan Reynolds comes in, I think he will be a seasoned Green Lantern. I think he will be have been Green Lantern for a very long time. But he'll have his jokes, just like Batman has his jokes in Zack Snyder's world, just like Aquaman, just like Flash, just like Wonder Woman. But it won't be in your face. It won't be thrown over the top. Breaking news, water wet, stuff like that. That is funny. It's just not a Dumb and Dumber funny, you know, that kind of way. So there's different types of humour, but I think he will have humour. He won't be this dead serious character, because Batman, even though in Batman vs Superman is this dark, depressed vigilante, he still has some humour to him, you know. Even that exchanges with him and Alfred is pretty good. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Matthew Mcconaughey is currently promoting his new book, which I'm actually very interested in. I hope I get to see it. Are you a fan of Blumhouse movies, and are you looking forward to Freaky? I am a fan of Blumhouse. I think they're doing an amazing job. Is Freaky the one with Vince Vaughn and the girl and they switch bodies? Is that the one I'm thinking of? I watched the trailer. Is that the one I'm thinking of? Because if so, that trailer looks really good. I think that's the one you're talking about. The one with Vince Vaughn and the girl, and Vince Vaughn's character is a serial killer, and somehow they switch bodies, and now he's in a teenage girl's body. Yes, it is, yeah. He's in a teenage girl's body now, and he's still killing, but she's in his body, and the cops are looking for him and stuff. Man, I laughed so hard at that trailer. And is that coming out? Is it out this week or is it out next week? When's it out? Because that trailer really, really got me excited. And Blumhouse does amazing things with horror. They really do. I really love their kind of movies. They're low budget, but they're kind of, some of them are scary, some of them are psychological thrillers, and they do a really amazing job. So yeah, Freaky, can't wait to see it. Yeah, that trailer really got me interested. And I'm a big Vince Van Vaughn. That doesn't make any sense. Vince Vaughn fan. I really like him in comedies and in drama. He's kind of moved away from the Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson kind of comedy over the last few years. He's done more dramatic stuff, and this one doesn't look like an over-the-top comedy either, but it has some dramatic moments to it. So I'm a big fan of him, and I'll watch anything he's in. And I think he's a very underrated dramatic actor, but he's been typecast for a very long time, so it is hard to get out of that shadow when you've been a comedic actor for so long. But I think comedic actors are some of the best dramatic actors. Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, when they move away from comedy and they go into dramatic films, they do an unbelievable job, and they really surprise some people, definitely. But Matthew McConaughey is promoting his new book, and he was being interviewed, and he was asked, "Were you interested in being the Hulk?" And he said, "Yeah." And basically, Marvel said no, they weren't interested. So Matthew McConaughey wanted to play Bruce Banner. He wanted to play the Hulk. Now, the interesting thing is, he never said which interpretation of the Hulk it was. Now, he was a big fan of the Lou Ferrigno TV show, which I like as well, and that's ending score for every episode. Beautiful. Was it the Eric Bana and Lee Hulk? Was it the Edward Norton Hulk? Or was it the Mark Ruffalo Hulk? Which one did he go to Marvel and say, "Look, I'm interested in the role"? Interesting. I think Matthew McConaughey is a great actor. He really is. And one of my favourite performances of his is in True Detective. Unbelievable. Russ Cole, one of the greatest characters of all time, produced on television. He did an amazing job. A big Matthew McConaughey fan. He wanted to be the Hulk, and that would be interesting. Now, I'm a fan of Marvel, but some of the decisions that Marvel make aren't the best at times in terms of how a character is portrayed. Like in Endgame, I didn't like what they did with the Hulk whatsoever. I didn't like what they did with Thor. I liked what they did with Thor in Infinity War. I didn't like what they did in Endgame. So if Matthew McConaughey was going to be the Mark Ruffalo Hulk, I think it'd be a waste of potential. If he was going to be that Edward Norton Hulk in that film, I think he would have done a good job. And then in the Ang Lee one, he would have done a good job as well. But I think the story needs to be great for Matthew McConaughey. He was also offered the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 to play the role that Kurt Russell played. The Ego, the Living Planet, I think that's the name. Chris Pratt's character's father in it. I'm glad he didn't take it, because I think there's potential for Matthew McConaughey to be in a comic book movie. I think DC suits his acting a little bit more. You know, what kind of character would he be good at? Would he be good as Constantine? Would he be good as Two-Face? What kind of character would Matthew McConaughey be good at? But I think DC suits his style even more. I really do. And I hope he does get a comic book movie in the future, because I love him. But it would have been interesting to see Matthew McConaughey play Hulk. You know, kind of a scientist. He has that scientist kind of maybe look to him as well. But maybe he's just too good looking to be Bruce Banner. Maybe. I don't know. But he is a good actor, and I'd love to see him in a DC film. You guys have any thoughts of what character he would be great as in the DC universe, or even the Marvel universe? Maybe a Marvel character that he would be great for. But I think it'd be a missed opportunity if someone doesn't cast him. Reverse Flash. Now, that's a good one, Brian. I think I talked about that before, about Matthew McConaughey. That would be good. Now, I'm not a big comic book reader. The only interpretation of Reverse Flash I've seen is in the Flash TV show, and I really did like Reverse Flash and the kind of art they were doing in that. If they did have him, I don't think Reverse Flash is going to be in the Flash solo film. I think they're saying the enemy and the threat in the Flash film is going to be Barry himself. So maybe that's him going back and trying to change the death of his mother, and ends up messing things up pretty bad. So he's kind of learning how to be the Flash. But yeah, if he was Reverse Flash down the line in the future, then I'd be okay with that. He could definitely pull it off. He's a great actor. He just needs the right script. True Detective Season 1 was the right script, the right story for him to invest in. So the same with Interstellar with Chris Nolan. He just needs the right director, the right story, and Matthew McConaughey can give us really something special. Now let's move on to the Ray Fisher controversy that's going on at the minute. Ray Fisher, of course, in turmoil with Warner Brothers, calling out Jeff Johns, John Berg, Josh Whedon for their on-set behaviour on Justice League after Zack Schneider left the production. He's claiming a lot of racial stuff was involved, and abusing of power and things like that. Now, we don't know exactly what happened on set, and there's a reason for that. There's an investigation ongoing. Ray Fisher said he wants to protect the people involved. He's loads of people who have to come forward and talk about what happened, but he needs to make sure that their careers and them as people are protected before this is brought to light. And seemingly Warner Brothers hasn't really taken the investigation seriously. Warner Media hasn't taken it seriously as well. So he's a lot of odds to go up. He's going against this multi-billion-dollar corporation on his own, and he is a black man. I think it's very brave from Ray Fisher to do this. And he does have support. Jason Momoa has supported him, and other people have supported him. I've seen it online as well, who have been involved in the production and around those kind of certain areas. It's an interesting one. He did an article for the Forbes, an interview for the Forbes. Very interesting read. Definitely check it out. May have a different opinion than I do, but something definitely happened for him to go this far and to make public statements on Twitter. And the reason he was doing that is because Warner Brothers weren't taking him seriously whatsoever, so he had to come out and say it. And now they finally are. The investigation is slowly but surely happening, but it seems like Ray Fisher has a lot of stuff that he has not talked about yet, because He's trying to protect people, but he has a case and he's trying to build it. And I don't know what's going to be the end result of this. Jeff Johns is being kind of eased out. He's not involved with the Snyder Cut whatsoever. He's taken his name off the production. He has Stargirl. He is still a producer on a lot of the Titans shows and stuff like that. But it's going to be interesting. Josh Whedon isn't anywhere near DC films at the minute. John Berger's away too. But Ray Fisher brought up Toby Emmerich, one of the big players at Warner Brothers. It's going to be interesting what happens there as well. But I'm sure Warner Brothers aren't happy whatsoever with what Ray Fisher's doing publicly. But if they're not taking him seriously behind closed doors either, then what other option does he have? And I think it's very brave of him to do this. Really brave of Ray Fisher to go this way. And he said he doesn't care about his career. He said he doesn't care about losing those kind of things. And fair play to him. Really, really fair play to Ray Fisher. I have to say that. In a world of social media and Warner Bros. Being this big corporation, he's doing that and he's not holding any punches back. Now, Josh Whedon's reps made a statement back saying these are untrue, but of course they're going to say that anyway. But I just believe Ray Fisher because I honestly think he's a good guy. Looking at him in interviews, seeing him online, he's always been respectful, addressed people accordingly. I don't think he'd make any of this stuff. Jason Moore coming out and saying that Snowman story that they brought out with Jeff Johns and John Berg involved with Jason Moore was a lie to bring controversy off of them and show Ray Fisher as a liar and making up stuff. So something definitely happened big enough for him to go that route, that option of saying it publicly. So I hope things are sorted. Is it going to affect his position in the Snyder Cut? I don't think so. I think he's going to still be the heart of the film. I think he's doing additional photography as well for the film right now. So that shouldn't affect that. But will it affect his career going forward? Probably. Probably will. But I'm sure he's good enough and he has enough friends in the industry to get work. Zack Snyder will use him again and again, I'm sure. He's also a theatrically trained actor. Tony Movie says, I think Ray Fisher is just very upset on what happened on Justice League 2017. Yeah, a lot of the scenes were cut. One of his arguments is that a lot of people of colour were cut from the film. So his father in the film, a lot of his scenes were cut. Ray Fisher's scenes were cut. His mother was completely cut from the film whatsoever. Iris West, who's Barry Allen's love interest, was completely cut from the film. There's a few other examples like that. But saying that, remember Darkseid, played by Ray Porter, was completely cut from the film. A few other options as well. Deathstroke's character was reduced, stuff like that. So there is kind of white characters that were removed as well, but Ryan Chow as well, he's supposed to play Atom, he was completely removed. So that's one of his arguments, is that a lot of people of colour were cut from the film, which is true. It is true. But yeah, on the 2017 film, another thing that was brought up in that article is that the cast were lied to, that Zack Schneider, they were told Zack Schneider had chosen Josh Whedon to take over from and finish the production. That's what they were told. Ray Fisher didn't talk to Zack Snyder until a year later and found out that was untrue. So they were lied to, and they were given statements going into Comic-Con of what to say. And that Zack Snyder picked the right guy, a great guy in Josh Whedon, and that's why Ray Fisher publicly retracted his statement about Josh Whedon being a good guy and Zack chose the right person. So they were lied to, a lot of the cast were lied to, and this led to Ben Affleck probably being upset the way everything was being run. His character arc being completely butchered and changed, and that resulted in him leaving the production. I know he had personal reasons as well, but a lot of it was just a toxic environment seemingly, so stuff like that. But it's pretty interesting, and the Ray Fisher stuff is pretty interesting to read and digest, and things like that. Josh Whedon's reps come out and we're talking about it as well, but look, who knows exactly what hneed Ray Fisher said he will tell us when everything has been resolved, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's why I believe Ray Fisher, and I'll continue to support him. But we need to hear all the facts as well, which is true. But shit went down that we don't really know of, but I don't think Ray Fisher would make it up whatsoever. So another thing I want to talk about is DC offered James Gunn Superman as well, but he chose Suicide Squad, which was pretty interesting. Would you be interested in a James Gunn Superman film? I like James Gunn. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was a good it was entertainment. I went to go see it in 2014 when I was living in New York at the time. Had a good time with it. 2 wasn't as good. Brian goes, on a side note, you were very good at giving Newsman, you're awesome. Thanks very much, Brian. We interacted a lot on Twitter. Tony says Josh Whedon really screwed up Justice League and was very abusive to his whole cast. Yeah, that's the report. That's the report, and he's done that before in other productions. Many people have come from Buffy as well and said the same thing. And he had arguments over the Avengers with Kevin Feige as well. He wanted to have a different character in it, but Kevin Feige told him that he had to have Black Widow. So he has had some controversial moments on sets before, and many people have come out and spoken about it, you know. So will you watch the Suicide Squad 2? Yeah, I will watch the Suicide Squad 2. James Gunn said very bad things online years ago, and it resulted in being fired from Marvel, and then fans petitioned and he got the job back, but DC hired him as well to do Suicide Squad. Do I agree with any of his tweets? No, some pretty bad stuff, but I don't think he should be kind of held up on a pitchfork because of those as well. Very bad stuff that was said, but I liked in a capacity to separate the art from the artist, if you can understand. So I can watch an actor or a director make a film. I might not agree with their political views, their religious beliefs, their beliefs on anything. I might not agree with them on a personal level on certain things. I might not agree with James Gunn's tweets or how he's said about different things about David Ayer and Schneider and stuff and things like that, but I can still go watch his film because it's not just him that works in the film, it's the actors, there's the crew. I'm interested in Suicide Squad because it has John Cena. I used to be a big wrestling fan. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Idris Elba as well, you know. So, did you see Brightburn? I think that was a lot of James Gunn influence. I didn't see Brightburn. I know it's kind of a Man of Steel kind of esque story where Superman is... Well, it's not Superman, but the character like Superman, he turns kind of bad. I haven't seen it, no. I've seen the trailer of it before. We're just kind of seeing very Superman-ish. I know about the tweets, but what did he say? Just weird stuff about kind of... Just jokes about children and stuff like that. I didn't really look at them all. There was a lot of tweets, but it was just weird stuff about. I don't really want to talk about it. It was just weird. You can look them up online, but yeah, not the best thing to be saying online. Tony goes, I agree. Brightburn was fun. I'm sure it was fun. I haven't seen it now. I need to watch it. But yeah, I can separate the art from the artist. I really can. You know, I can go watch a film, knowing a certain person has done stuff. I don't agree with it whatsoever. There's some capacity where I won't. Like the Kevin Spacey stuff that came out as well. That was pretty weird and pretty bad. I haven't seen any of his films, even ones that came out before all that stuff, in a very long time. You know, so some stuff just depends how it makes me feel. But James Gunn hasn't been convicted of anything. He hasn't been stuff like that, you know. But I'm looking forward to the Suicide Squad. It looks really good. But he was offered Superman before Suicide Squad. So DC looked at James Gunn, this billion-dollar director, and said, look, come to us. Marvel fired you. Come to us. We'll give you anything you want. Make us an Avengers type film. Justice League, Superman. Who do you want? We'll let you do it. He said the Suicide Squad. So it's pretty cool. I don't think a James Gunn Superman film would have been that good. I don't think so. Man of Steel is an unbelievable Superman film. James Gunn, I'm sure, can make a good Superman film, but a follow-up with Henry Cavill's Superman, I think it needs to hit the heights of what Man of Steel was. I don't know if James Gunn can do that, because visually speaking, Zack Snyder and James Gunn are very different. Two great directors, but very different in that aspect. And that's something that has to be brought over to the Man of Steel 2 film, of how it looks. It can't look cheap. It can't look like, say, Justice League in 2017. It has to look as good as Zack Snyder's story. It really does. But Suicide Squad, I'm looking forward to it. But they really need to start investing in what the cast and the story is. A lot of the DC fandom stuff was about James Gunn. We got James Gunn. We got this big director from Marvel coming over. Start putting that in the bed of the cast, you know. I want to see what more of John Cena's character, or Idris Elba, or Michael Rooker's character. Start promoting them. Start marketing those characters, because that's what's going to draw audiences to the theatres, or hopefully the theatres. But yeah, James Gunn, of course, is this big director, and they're going to market him like crazy. They're going to say, the director from Guardians of the Galaxy presents you the Suicide Squad. You know, I agree, Zack Schneider, totally different aesthetics to Gunn, yeah, and it would definitely show. So I think you need to get someone, if Zack Snyder's not going to come back for another Superman film, you need to get someone who can tell a story, or make the story look a bit like how Zack Snyder made Man of Steel look. You know, you have to have that brought back over, because anything less, for me, I think it would look pretty cheap, you know. So who would you guys want for a Superman sequel, you know? Talks of J.J. Abrams. I think J.J. Abrams can do okay, but he needs to have his own control and set a story and decide what he's doing, because the Star Wars trilogy, that was so messy. I know he did some pretty good stuff with Star Trek, but he needs to make a plan, set it out, have a good script writer. If they bring Chris Terrio in, he's a great director or writer, or David Goyer or someone like that who can write a really good script for him, then J.J. Abrams could do a pretty good job. But we'll have to. That Man of Steel sequel, I think, is a long time away, especially with theaters right now, especially with all the movies turned back, pushed back. I think we're 3, 4, 5 years at least before we see a Man of Steel 2. I'm sure he'll pop up in other DC projects like Black Adam. I think them two will go at it. The Rock versus Superman. I think that's definitely going to happen. They have the same agent as well, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, DC offered James Gunn a Superman film. I was pretty curious about that, interest now, and I'm glad he picked Suicide Squad. I think it suits his humour, suits his direction. He had an ensemble cast for Guardians of the Galaxy. Brian goes, I think Matthew Vaughn would be a good choice. Matthew Vaughn is a great director. Kick-Ass 1, I love that. X-Men First Class, brilliant job. Kingsman, very good. I don't think I've ever seen Kingsman 2. I've seen little bits of it. I know he's coming out with a Kingsman prequel. But yeah, he's a pretty good director. And him as a Superman director could be pretty good, you know. I think he casts his films pretty well. So if he was to cast a villain and side characters, there's no doubt that he would have a great ensemble cast around him. Because I wasn't too sure on X-Men First Class, because I liked the original crew. But then James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender killed it. Absolutely killed it, you know. So, and then Aaron Taylor-Johnson as Kick-Ass was great, with Nicolas Cage in there as well. So he cast his films pretty well. And I think it'll be the same with a Superman sequel. I absolutely do. Now, next topic is the Songbird trailer. Who has seen the Songbird trailer? This is a trailer about all of us. It is. We're all in this film. This is about our life. Songbird is basically COVID-19 film. Michael Bay is a producer. I think, is it coming out on Netflix? I'm not too sure if it's coming out on Netflix or not. But the trailer just came out yesterday. And when it was announced, people were like, you're making a mockery of what COVID-19. Thousands of people have died because of this. You're making a mockery. You know, this is... Read the room. Leave enough time, then make a movie. My opinion is, they make movies about absolutely everything. They make movies about plane crashes. They make movies about the stock exchange. They make movies about health. They make movie about race. They make movies about absolutely everything. So for this Songbird film about COVID-19 coming out during the pandemic, or coming out 10 years from now, sorry, I still think, coughing now is the minute I say COVID, but I don't see a problem with it. It's a movie. And yes, people have died because of this disease, but so have people in war, and they still make war films, you know. I think it has to be done in the right way. The trailer was pretty good. I think KJ Kepa is, or Epa, whatever you say his second name, he is starring in the film. It looks very intriguing. It's about isolation, it's about COVID, it's about dealing with being stuck in the whole time. Here at the moment in my country, we're on another 6-week lockdown, level 5. So we can't go anywhere. The shops are open and stuff like that. But I'm basically stuck in my house all day. I go out and I run and stuff like that. But I'm basically indoors. And that's why I'm doing more stuff like this. Because I've nothing really else to do. And it's good to engage with people who are going through something similar. But I think this is a film that could be bring a lot of engagement to it. Definitely. Songbird, it looks okay. It has a good cast. I like the trailer. I like when they take kind of cheerful music and turn it into a dark kind of way. Jordan Peele started doing that with his trailers for Get Out and Us and stuff like that. He's done pretty well, and I like when they get a happy song, put it into like a dark film for a trailer. It works really well. But yeah, it's just about isolation and trying to control people in cities, telling them not to leave their houses. The military, of course, have power. The governments are the elite. Stuff like that. So the trailer does look pretty interesting. And a lot of us can probably relate to it. You know, we really can. Some of us take this differently, being in lockdown. Like myself, I don't mind it too much. I can train, watch my movies, things like that. But many people have suffered for their mental health. Many people are missing loved ones, things like that. So I think there's something to kind of relate to in this film. And Michael Bay is a very successful director and producer. And you can see kind of influences of his on this project. And I'm a big fan of Michael Bay. I really am. Gets a lot of hate because it's all explosions and stuff like that. But Michael Bay is a pretty good guy. I like him, man. He's he's actually very accurate director, and he takes it very seriously. You know, I've watched a lot of directors' commentary with him, And the way he goes about his process is absolutely brilliant. He takes a lot of things to heart as well. When people kind of question him or say he's a bad director, he takes his stuff to heart really, and there's some wild stories of him taking stuff to heart, and he's really passionate about his work, and I think he's a good director and a good producer. Tony Movie goes, thoughts on Neil Blomkamp's 3 films, District 9, Asylum and Chappie. The only movie the only one I've seen of those 3 is Chappie. Chappie was a long time, I think it's about 5 years ago since I've seen it maybe. Wasn't too intrigued by it. I'd probably have to see it again. I know it's the one with Hugh Jackman, he's kind of evil in it and there's a robot and stuff like that. Yeah, it didn't really intrigue me that much. I have to see Asylum and I have to see District 9. I have not seen them. I heard District 9 is pretty good, but I definitely I have to check those out. I really do. And he's a great director as well. He's done a lot of good stuff. But those movies I haven't seen whatsoever. Chappie I have. It was shot nicely. I like the way it was shot, but I just wasn't intrigued too much by the story. Maybe because it was a robot. I don't know. But I have to see those other 2 definitely. Yeah, but the soundboard trailer about the pandemic, I can't wait to see it. I'll watch it. You know, what else can we do when we sit down and watch movies and TV shows? And this kind of can relate and hit home for a lot of us. It could end up being a terrible film or a terrible interpretation of it and make people even more depressed. It could, or it might be able to get people away from the feeling of isolation for a while, looking at other people do it. I don't know. District 9 is amazing. I heard it is amazing. Does that follow a group of children or something like that? No. I can't really remember. I heard people talk about it before. I heard it is good. Does that follow teenagers or children or something like that? But yeah, any of you guys have anything to talk about before we wrap up? Any discussions or any questions or anything like that? Don't be afraid to write in the comments. Interested to hear your guys' thoughts. And if you disagree with that, let me know. That's the beautiful thing about film, about theatre, about TV, about stuff like that, is it's subjective. It hits people in different ways, and we can disagree in a respectful way and have a conversation about it. Too many people online just end up calling people names and stuff, and that's not good whatsoever. You know, have a discussion, engage with each other. It's good to learn and listen to people and what they have to say when they disagree with you. And you might see something that they don't, that you don't see, and then they might see something that they don't see. You know, so it's interesting that way. But any other questions, guys? Just hit me there. That's all the kind of news that I had to talk about there. Mandalorian was pretty good. Halloween trailer was good. Talking a bit about the Ayer cut. Red Notice finished production. Mcconaughey wanted to play the Hulk. Pretty interesting. Ray Fisher controversy. DC offered James Gunn Superman, and the Songbird trailer. Do you think Ray Fisher is jeopardizing his career? I think that it will jeopardize his career in some capacity. The only work that Ray Fisher has ever gotten on the big screen has been with Warner Bros. He has been in Justice League 2017, True Detective Season 3, Warner Bros. Properties. So, yeah, in a capacity he probably has. But he's a theatre trained actor. He'll probably get a lot of theatre work. I'm sure if Zack Snyder's Justice League is a success, he'll come back for part 2 and a part 3 if that's what's going to happen. So he'll definitely have those. I think Zack Snyder, whatever he does, might use him, you know, because the two of them are good friends. So if Zack Snyder sees Ray Fisher out of work and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure he'll use him. He probably will jeopardize it to an extent because many people won't want to work with him, and the people who won't want to work with him will be similar people to Jeff Johns, will be similar people to Josh Whedon, similar people to Toby Emmerich, who know that they're not doing a good job, that they know they're putting people in situations that they should not be. And all they care about is themselves and their paycheck and stuff like that, and having this kind of power over people. So definitely people like that won't want to work with Ray Fisher because he'll call it out straight away. But I think true artists, people who respect that kind of thing, people who appreciate him standing up to that kind of stuff, will want to work with Ray Fisher because they'll see a decent guy. I think he'll do a lot of work. What's your opinion on the Baffling HBO Max series rumours? Loads of rumours about that, isn't there? There's a lot of rumours. My opinion on the future of the Snyderverse is that Zack Snyder's Justice League has to be a success in terms of social media buzz, and you could stand here right now and say it is a success. You know, it is going to spin off to more content, but anything can happen. The HBO Max doesn't have many subscribers right now. They announced Zack Snyder's Justice League back in May. That wasn't enough to get people onto the board straight away because we don't know the release date. But I think if Zack Snyder's Justice League is a success in terms of social media buzz, very much like Game of Thrones, that's what they're looking for. This Game of Thrones level of hype. And I think the episode arc, one episode at a time, is perfect. I'd love to see the 4 or 5 hour uncut version of Zack Snyder's Justice League. We will eventually, but to be broken down to 1 hour parts is perfect. And then with Zack Snyder, if he's able to bring cliffhangers into it, if he's able to mold it into a TV show, you have cliffhangers, you have post credit scenes, you have stuff like that. Discussion will happen. You'll have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube channel breakdowns of the show, of each episode, and that will bring buzz. And then the Snyder Cut community will obviously create buzz online, but then that might lead to people who aren't up to date, like you and I, who don't know what's going on week to week, and they'll see, well, that's trending, what's that? They'll look into it, they might check it out. And what I think has a lot going for it is that this has 3 of the biggest stars in the world in it. You got Wonder Woman, you got Superman, you got Batman in it. You know, mega IPs that people absolutely love. So I definitely think it's going to gain attraction. I think it's going to be a success. I think Justice League 2 will be announced. And those Baffling rumours with Deathstroke coming back for additional photography, with Ben Affleck coming back for the Flash movie and maybe getting the hunger for it again, I think it's a huge possibility. So I want it to happen. But I think the Snyder Cut has to be a success first before HBO Max greenlit it. They only announce it, in my view, when that comes out and they see how good and how much people love it. That's just my opinion. I hope it's announced sooner, but there's a lot of rumours. Why do people want the Snyder Cut? Well, because they like Zack Snyder work. Simple as that. They liked Watchmen, they liked Man of Steel, they liked Batman v Superman, they liked the story he was trying to tell with Justice League, with these DC characters. And people were falsely marketed back in 2017. We were given a film that we were going to watch in the tone of Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman. Lots of scenes that didn't end up in the film. People paid good, hard-earned money to see a film that they weren't marketed. They felt abused in a sense. You know what they did, and I did as well when I went in to watch it. I knew it wasn't Snyder's film. I knew, and I had doubts about it, and I felt annoyed. I really did. I was looking forward to seeing more of Ben Affleck's Batman and Superman and stuff like that, but it was just butchered. So that's why people want it, because they like his work. The same way you probably have a director that you love, and you'll watch anything that he has. So people want the Snyder Cut because they love this interpretation of the characters, they love the story that was being told, and they want to see more of it. Simple as that. And gladly, HBO Max have came in to save the day because they see an audience there for it. Brian goes, if it's like BVS and ends on certain scenes that give the feel of a short film, it'd be perfect. A good example of a Zack Snyder film that could be put into a episodic form is Watchmen, and is Batman vs Superman. Man of Steel is kind of a narrative story that flows very well. Batman vs Superman, I agree, you could break it up and do episodic form. The nightmare sequence that was fleshed out more, that could be an episode. The scenes with Baffling in the warehouse, stuff like that could be an episode to itself. More stuff with Lex Luthor. The opening could be fleshed out, that could be an episode. You know, stuff like that. It definitely could. But Watchmen, for me, Zack Snyder's film, definitely could be broke up to an episodic form. That director's cut of the 3 hours and 3 hours and 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So I think Zack can do it. He wouldn't have come up with the idea to HBO, to AT&T, unless he could do it, you know. So I definitely think it will be done right. I don't think we'll be there and like, this isn't really working that well as a TV show. I think Zack will change it up. I think he'll this additional photography will help for that. And remember, his assembly cut was 5 hours. 5 hours of footage. I also think that the episodes won't be just 60 minutes. I think they'll run over an hour with this additional photography, with being given 70 million. I absolutely think that it's going to have more to it, 100%. And it's interesting, isn't it? It's going to be so exciting. You're sitting down to watch episode 1, and it's 60 minutes or 65 minutes or 70 minutes, and you're waiting for next week's episode, and then at the end of the 4 episodes, you're there and you're like, I get to sit down and watch 4-5 hours of this content with no breaks and just absolutely enjoy it. And the discussion is going to be immense. The Easter eggs that will be there, stuff like that, will be absolutely brilliant. Breaking down, because there's new things we're being seen of Batman vs Superman 4 years after it's come out. There's things that we see 7 years since Man of Steel come out that we never noticed before. So that's the beauty of a Zack Snyder film. That's the beauty of these kind of films from a great director, is that we get to break it down in so many layers, talk about it in so much more capacity, and it's really beautiful. Any more questions, guys, before I end this live of Movies That Matter? Any more questions or discussions or anything like that? I appreciate you guys watching it. Really do. Really appreciate it, guys. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're not a subscriber. It's in the bio. Do a lot of discussion about DC, movie reviews and stuff like that. So that's what I just love doing. Film director, how you doing, man? How are you? Any more questions, guys, or anything like that? Love to hear it. I've got 4 people watching here now at the minute. How do you get your beard so glorious, Brian? Now, Brian, this is a movie channel, Brian. This isn't a makeover, 60-minute makeover. My beard, I'd probably shave it now. Actually, I don't know. Sometimes I let it go really, really long, and sometimes I just cut it really short. So I like to change it up. But yeah, no, it's just natural, Brian. I don't use any products or anything like that. I don't do anything special with it. I just shower once a day, and that's what keeps it really nice. Yeah. Film director says hi. How you doing? And Brian there laughing to himself, probably smoking weed like you do. I see you, Brian. I see you. You're always doing it. But guys, I'll probably end the live here now, and appreciate you watching. Come back. I'll do more of these, maybe daily, maybe every few days and stuff. Talk about the latest news that's breaking and engage with you guys. I really look forward to hearing your thoughts. Don't be afraid to DM me, comment under the post, stuff like that. I appreciate it. I want to engage with you guys. I really do. I love connecting with other movie fans and talking about it. Come follow me on Twitter as well at MovieBuff100. And yeah, I'll see you next time, guys. I appreciate you watching this live.